I am 65 years old. I am disabled. Been on disability for 25 years. The last 10 months my disability actually it's been the last year. My disability has gotten much worse. And I have been denied medical care. I have pleaded, I have begged, I've contacted Medi-Cal, Medicare. Nobody cares. I contacted the ombudsman who is supposed to take and fix complaints like this. All he does is pass me on to the very same Kern County Health Department who's been denying me care for the last year. You don't forward your complaints to the very same people that you're complaining about. What the hell good does that do? I can barely function just with my illness. And the harassment and terror I have experienced from my neighbors upstairs in 224 has made my illnesses so much worse. According to the law, who cares about the law, right? Certainly no government official cares about the law. No private enterprise cares about the law. According to the law, well, let me put it this way. About 3 months ago, I first contacted the property owner. According to the law, the property owner's contact information is supposed to be listed on the premises in public, preferably in the office somewhere, where anybody and everybody could see it. But it's not there in this apartment at Park Palace Apartments. I asked them directly, this was years ago by the way, I asked them for the property owner's information and they refused to give it to me. The only way I got a hold of it was contacting the California Tax Allocation Committee, who gave me the owner's info. I've been contacting the owner for the last 3 months because management refuses to enforce the lease. I thought, well, definitely the owner would be interested to hear about this. Management and the owner, neither of them have ever responded in writing, in email, or in phone calls to any of my complaints. The purpose of the California Tax Allocation Committee is to make sure that these apartments are livable. They are to oversee these affordable housing units to make sure that they are up to code, make sure that the tenants apartments are being kept up and functioning, and to make sure that these apartments are livable. Well, thanks to my apartment manager and the owner and my neighbors upstairs, my apartment has not been livable for 8 years. It's 8 years my apartment has not been livable. I contact the California Tax Allocation Committee and tell them this. Their response: we don't deal with landlord-tenant disputes. That's their job. It's their job to satisfy the tenants. That's their purpose. That's what they're being paid to do. Being harassed and threatened and abused by your neighbors and your apartment manager is something that they should be very, very concerned about. But they refuse to do their jobs. And what the hell else is new? Doctors refuse to do their jobs. Police refuse to do their jobs. I've called up the police 5 times in the last 8 years. They refuse to even show up. They refuse to do their jobs. I mentioned that in detail in another video, in an earlier video. So we have doctors, police, apartment managers, apartment owners, government agencies, and lawyers. I have tried to contact so many lawyers online and on the referral service, the county and the state lawyer referral service. I can't get a damn lawyer to return my calls. Nobody wants to do their damn jobs. Now, a lot of these lawyers will claim, they haven't claimed it to me, but I've read it online, they will claim that this is a tenant-landlord dispute, that has to do with tenant-landlord law. But it doesn't. It has to do with contract law. That's all it has to do with. It's a breach of contract. My apartment managers and my apartment owner have breached their contract that I have paid them to enforce for the last 8 years. And that's all this case is about. I've been paying rent under false pretenses for the last 8 years. They owe me about 8 years back rent. Well, they would call it back rent if I owed it to them. So they owe it to me. So it's basically just fraud. It's a breach of contract fraud case. My managers have been committing fraud against me by refusing to enforce the contract that we both agreed to when I signed the damn thing and been paying them money monthly for the last 8 years. I've been living here for 10 years. But my neighbors have been harassing me for the last 8. And I go into detail about that in a previous video. In any case, the society is failing. It is collapsing. When people who are paid to do their jobs refuse to do their jobs, doesn't matter if it's the private sector or the public sector, that's a sign of societal collapse. Our society is failing. Lawyers refuse to do their jobs. They won't even call me. Cops refuse to do their jobs. They won't even show up. Property owners and apartment managers don't even respond to my complaints. And they don't fix my complaints. Doctors refuse to give me medical care. Society is breaking down. Nothing works. Society is failing. It has failed me. I am sicker than hell. I don't know how... I can't stand this anymore. I'm having a nervous breakdown. I need help. But my pleas, my begging for help just goes ignored. And there's no one to turn to. The news media doesn't, well, that's another thing. I've also contacted the news media about this, the local and on the local and national levels. Both of them completely ignore my complaints. Doctors, lawyers, police, government agencies, landlords, property owners, businesses, news media, all of them are failing. Society is collapsing. And I don't know how much longer I can go on. I don't know how much longer I can put up with this. I am just too sick. I am too sick to even pick up the phone anymore. I'm for one thing, I'm afraid of just being ignored again. I'm tired of calling people. I'm tired of emailing them and getting no response, getting no action, getting no solutions to the problems I'm having that are caused by other people. I'm not causing these problems. I am... These problems are being inflicted upon me. I don't want to suffer like this. I don't want anything to do with this. I want the problem solved. I've had it. Society has ceased to function. It doesn't work anymore. And if you think I am the only person around that this is happening to, think again. Millions, tens of millions of Americans and people all over the world are going through the very same thing I'm going through. Maybe not as bad, maybe worse. all over the world. Societies are failing. They are ceasing to function. And I am the perfect example of that.